Hello everyone, welcome to Fan Stories. In this video you will listen to the story named How to Tangle 4 Brave Guardians. It is the crossover of two movies, How to Train Your Dragon and Rise of the Guardians. This video is chapter 2 of the story. Jack had fallen asleep, strange enough for a spirit. What's more, he'd done so on top of Jamie's roof, a borrowed fairy tale book left in his lap, open on a particular fairy tale. Rapunzel. The Guardian had finally discovered the blonde girl's name. He was flying in the cozy darkness of a dreamless sleep, when in front of him appeared the ashen sphere of the moon. But before Jack could say or ask anything, the moonlight grew paler and paler until it was barely visible. Now the moon looked sick, like darkened silver in color. Then it vanished without a trace, just like it had appeared. And suddenly he was staring at two pairs of green eyes, different and yet alike, as if they shared one soul. With his side vision Jack spotted something red and a prosthetic leg. How'd he manage to see that? Suddenly a loud whistle was heard, as if something was soaring through the sky. Then everything disappeared, just to be replaced by another pair of green eyes, but this time softer, surrounded by a golden glow. Something like fireflies was flying in the background, and for a moment he was sure he heard a quiet song. Then everything was once again replaced. A pair of turquoise eyes were staring back this time, and his peripheral vision picked a whole lot of arrows spilled on the ground. Then a twang was heard, as if a bowstring was released, and everything was gone. Jack was left in the dark alone with his thoughts, when suddenly, click. Long golden hair. Click. Scottish accent. Click. Triple H. The three things, clicks, he'd begun to call them, appeared again and again in his mind until he found himself facing the moon once more.
Why are you showing me these things?
The Guardian asked. A soft breeze came out of nowhere and turned him around so that he was facing his shadow. Well, kind of. Jack saw the four shadows this time. And again he heard the whistle, the singing and the twang. Only that now they were accompanied by a distant laughter. His laughter. And suddenly the spirit was awake.
What may this dream mean?
Jack asked.
And when you add those strange thoughts I've had lately?
North just scratched his beard and shrugged.
I don't know. Might be nothing, but I highly doubt it.
That's when the younger Guardian noticed something.
We'll have to, North. Ask Sandy. He's Gar North. Dying of dreams after a North.
Jack shouted, finally grabbing the attention of his friend, and pointed to the moon which was shining through the hole in the roof.
Ah, man and moon. Jack, you should have said something earlier.
The winter spirit scoffed.
What's news, old friend?
North asked. The familiar blue rays shone down, but paler than usual.
Looks like Manny's sick. Can he catch a cold?
Jack asked.
Not likely. Someone might be taking his powers.
North trailed off. The moonlight became a hint brighter for a few seconds, then paled again, and the old Guardian nodded.
Which is obviously case. Who's it, Manny?
But the rays were shining peacefully, not forming any shadows on the floor. The two Guardians exchanged a confused and alarmed look. If Man in Moon himself didn't know who was taking his powers, things were pretty serious. Then the winter spirit pointed to the floor, where the moonlight had formed the shadow of a clock.
But what does that mean?
He wondered aloud. North answered, his voice unsure.
Someone in past. But what are we supposed to do from present?
Suddenly Jack let out a cry, once again pointing to the floor where the blue rays had drawn the same four shadows that the young Guardian had already seen. North looked at them curiously.
These are shadows from your dream. No.
Jack nodded, letting North continue.
This is your shadow, see? I think.
He trailed off. The winter spirit eyed him, wondering what was going on inside his head. Then the other's sudden yell startled him.
Yes. I got it. This is your shadow, so you have to help Manny. 3 more shadows, 3 more people you find to do it. And clock, they're in past. Just like villain. And your dream, and clicks, all adds up.
Jack had to agree, but one thing still wasn't clear.
How am I supposed to go to the past?
North just smiled and pointed at the pedestal that was rising from the moonlit floor. Only it didn't present a new guardian this time. Out of the blue, rather, out of the blue moonlight, a silver pendant appeared, carved in the form of a crescent moon. The winter spirit took it carefully and looked at North, who nodded.
"I'm coming, Manny,"
Jack whispered. He then put on the pendant and suddenly wasn't at the North Pole anymore. You have just listened Chapter 2 of the story How to Tangle 4 Brave Guardians. Subscribe and waiting for Chapter 3 of this interesting story. Thank you for listening.